Let's talk about the United States. Sure. A lot going on over there. I want to get your thoughts on the Democrats in particular. Gavin Newsom, favourite, not so much. But look, he's just announced one day after the US officially withdrew from the World Health Organization that his state would become the first to join the World Health Organization in, of course, a rebuke of the Trump administration's withdrawal. What do you make of Gavin Newsom, his moves recently, clearly trying to be the Dems nominee?
There's no secret about this. I mean, this is the biggest open secret, and I think he will. And I think he will be the next nominee. This whole thing with the WHO, entirely predictable, although you kind of wonder, what does he know? What is he privy to about some sort of future pandemic? But anyway, we'll put that aside there. Trump was right to pull out of the WHO. The WHO behaved atrociously during the COVID pandemic.
Absolutely.
And so, he was right to do that. But what's really interesting about Newsom is he's trying to get this sort of alternate president thing happening right now. So he was at Davos. He was at the World Economic Forum. And, he was mixing it up and giving all sorts of weird quotes. I spoke a lot about it on the U.S. report, which is now at its new time of 8:30 on Friday nights, by the way.
Fantastic.
It is fantastic. And he also wound up mixing it up with the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, wound up posting a fairly kind of iffy, slightly homophobic meme about him, which was pretty interesting. I don't know how that goes down in California, but okay. But yeah, he's running as kind of this alternate government. The really interesting thing right now being that America is at this really tricky space right now where the left and the right and the Democrat states and the Republican states are actually starting to genuinely come apart in some disturbing ways, which we're seeing like in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
look, Gavin Newsom, watch this space. I don't think his social media strategy is very good. I don't know who's advising him, but he's obviously just trying to run his own race, trying to mimic Trump.
Well, yeah, and it's funny to think about where are his alternatives, right? There are, is it going to be Kamala Harris? No, she was the weakest, biggest disaster candidate ever. She's polling okay simply because she's got name recognition. Is it going to be Pritzker from Illinois? I don't think so. Who else could it be? There are very few names out there that are creditable. You've got Pete Buttigieg, which some people really like him, but he polls at literally 0% among the black male population, so that's not going to happen.
AOC, who wants to abolish ICE.
She's too young.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Too young. She could be, though, a vice president. You could see a California, New York ticket there. So, yeah.
Well, that's concerning. That worries me. Let's talk about Iran. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has been forced into hiding, fearing that he will be taken out by a US strike as American aircraft carriers continue towards the Middle East. James, we've been looking at Iran, obviously, all month. There are reports that up to 30,000 people were killed in the space of just a couple of days. It's horrific what is happening there. Do you expect it's just a matter of time now until the US strikes Iran?
Look, I don't know whether or not they strike Iran militarily, but I can tell you if I'm the Ayatollah, if I'm one of the supreme leaders of Iran, well, I'll say this. Last night, after having a few refreshing beers for Australia Day, I had a spicy pepperoni pizza, and I slept better than any of these guys will be sleeping at the moment. They will have just looked at what happened to Maduro in Venezuela. They will remember all of the targeted assassinations that Israel pulled off over the last 2 years in conjunction with its war against Gaza and Hamas. They know that they're all marked men and that it's only a matter of time, and they need to figure out a plan, activate their plan to get on a plane to Russia, where they'll probably get some sort of asylum with as much gold as they can stick in their carry-ons and get out of the country, because otherwise they're literally dead men walking. The big question is, Iran, what comes next? Well, first of all, there's a lot of moves afoot right now to crush the shadow banking system that is allowing the regime to keep surviving. That's going to involve using the UAE and things like that. Secondly, of course, you do have all these military assets. I think that's a last-ditch thing, though, because what has to happen is some sort of stability in creating some sort of new government. I hope that what that looks like is the Shah, the son of the Shah, coming back in, setting up a transitional government and letting that country have some peace and prosperity, which it had before, and it richly deserves again.
James Morrow, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Great to be here.